Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. It's been a while. This is a Neptune in Aries transit video. Just before I start, quickly, if you're new here, my name is Susan. I'm a Western tropical astrologer, also a psychic medium, and this channel I mostly do videos on astrology these days. I do have a second channel, which is Starlight Oracle readings, where I do the forecast for the month ahead for the astrology. So check that out. It's linked in this channel, and I also do shorts with card reading. So, with the month ahead reading, that's the astrology for each month as it's happening in advance. And the March one is up if you haven't seen it. I also do cards for your sign as well. All right, oh, and also if you don't know me, I've been studying astrology since 1999. I've been a practicing astrologer and psychic medium since 2012. And let's get into this video. So Neptune in Aries transit, this is starting this month of March. So I'm making this video just before the eclipse in Virgo. This is it's the 12th of March today, 2025. Neptune goes into Aries at the end of this month, around the 30th or on the 30th of March, and it will be in the sign of Aries until 2039. So obviously Neptune, is in a sign for a long time. And the last time Neptune was in Aries, it wouldn't have been in your lifetime. So it was back in the, I believe, 1860s through to around 1875. Um, we can look at history to see, what transpired then, although understanding that influences will be different because there are other transits going on that are different. That also said, Uranus is going to be in Gemini this year, starting that transit. I've made a separate video on that. Check it out if you want to understand more about that individually, especially if you're a Gemini. But with these two planets, Neptune in Aries and Uranus in Gemini, we could see some similar things in an aspect to certain things that occurred symbolically, perhaps, back in the 18 late, late 1860s or 1860s to 1875. There could be things happening to do with big changes in society. That's definitely going to be happening because we've got Pluto in Aquarius as well. But I really want to focus on this, really just kind of focusing in on Neptune in Aries specifically, even though as an astrologer, I do look at everything together. For the purposes of those that are really interested in breaking things down, it is good to do that sometimes to understand the energy. So let's break it down. So Neptune itself and then Neptune in Aries. So Neptune's influence is, and sorry, just to say, I'm going to go through a couple of slides, and I'm going to talk about it collectively, and then I'm going to talk about it individually, like which signs are going to be most affected. And then I will do an extended video, which will be on my Patreon, where I will go through each and every sign for your sun, moon, and rising. So that will be on my Patreon. All right. So Neptune is about, in a positive sense, it's very much this energy of becoming more connected to your authentic self, your higher self, your soul's essence, So if you're, gosh, if you're an Aries, your life is going to be changing quite significantly. And obviously from March this year, it only goes into the first degree or two. I think it goes to 1 or 2 degrees this year. Um, so if you'd have to be like very early in Aries, probably up to 3 degrees to feel, maybe 4 degrees to feel it this year, especially if it's your sun, moon, or rising. Um, but this is going to really spiritualize your life and really get you in touch with your true self and what it is that you really need on a soul level. So if you've been in Aries that's been more focused on the material side of life, for example, and that's kind of been it, you're going to be more in tune with your emotional needs and your spiritual needs and the sense of what is calling to you, like on a deeper level of your soul. And that's kind of going to be what's going to pull you forward. And you will tend to, as Neptune comes in and influences your sign, in particular Aries, because, that's who I'm talking to right now, because that's the energy that we're dealing with. You guys are going to feel something's calling you forward, and you may not be able to put your finger on exactly what that is. It may not be cut and dried. It may not be, well, it's not going to be cut and dried. It's not going to be this very practical, pragmatic energy that you kind of think, oh, well, you know, this makes sense, with money. This makes sense with every practicality in my life. It's going to be the opposite to that. It's going to be more where you're looking at your life and you're like, you know what, I've lived for this and that in the past, and now it's time for me to really trust what my intuition is telling me. And the reason you're going to trust it is because you're going to feel like your intuition is really calling to you at this time. It's really um what's the word, like informing you of something. You're going to feel that. And you may have very spiritual dreams. You may have certain things that are coming up for you on an energetic level that you might feel it's quite strange. You might think, wow, what am I going through? This is really unusual. And with Neptune, it does dissolve the boundaries of things, and it can dissolve your own mental constructs that you've had previously. Aries is a sign that rules the head, and Aries can be a very strong-willed and stubborn energy. But in with Neptune in your sign, it is going to soften your hard edge and or hard edges that you have, Aries, in a way where it can dissolve old parts of your personality or your experience of life that you don't need to take with you in the future and that are not going to help you on the next phase of your journey. So it is really important for Aries to trust, and not just trust your own intuition, but trust in life, trust in the grace of your spirit guides, your angels, and your own intuition, your own feeling of like, you know what, I've got this feeling that if I just take this step, I don't need to have everything planned out into to the most extreme detail. I can just take this step and I know I'm going in the right direction because I've just been feeling it for so long. That's kind of what's going to be driving Aries with this energy is the intuition, the feeling, the a calling. And a lot of Aries people may travel overseas or may relocate or completely change their life. Um, there can be also things of releasing addictions for some people. So, like letting go of old things that have been holding you back, dissolving old connections, dissolving old energies in your life that feel too mundane, too focused on um, the material side of life without anything with a deeper meaning to it. So Aries people will be looking for a deeper meaning, and they know it's time to seek that out now. Um, Now, the darker side of Neptune, let's talk about that because that is obviously part of it here, is the darker side of Neptune is illusion. And with Aries ruling the head, there can be this energy of people feeling individually like, am I really listening to my intuition or am I being deluded, and just questioning that. So this is why it's really important for Aries people to go on this journey and learn to trust your intuition and your guidance and the signs that you're getting as you go forward. And that's what's going to be opening up for you, this new level of trust in yourself in this way. Some things could be coming up to do with past life stuff as well. Neptune, does spiritualize things. So you might be having to dissolve old contracts with people where there's a past life connection, or you're embarking on a new journey that is a past life connection with somebody. Um, on the negative side, you do have to watch out for escapism, like negative escapism, being in a way, maybe, yes, have faith and go forward in faith, but not to completely lose a sense of the practical. Um, to still have that, would be important so that you don't feel completely unanchored. Because this is a dissolving energy when Neptune say it conjuncts your sun, it can be a bit of a dissolving energy where you feel like your old identity is really shifting and you're embarking on this new path that's really lifting you out of your old life. And you kind of don't know who you are for a while because you're just finding yourself again. It's a new path that's opening up. So this sense of this new identity coming in, and this feeling of a new path, and new experiences that are going to that have the potential to be quite magical. But there could also be some very emotional things that you have to deal with that could feel confusing. Confusion is like a heavier or darker aspect, I guess, of Neptune. And there may be times where you feel like, I don't know if I'm on the right path, I'm just finding my way as I go. That would be normal for this transit. So the signs that are going to benefit and not to say that Aries won't benefit, because Aries, it's a conjunction for Aries. So you guys will benefit, but there could also be some confusion and some dissolving of the past that could be painful. If it's on your sun, it can be a bit of an ego death. So like the things that anything to do with a false sense of ego, like really being attached to a particular status, even though you're not happy, or being really attached to a particular career, even though you're not happy with it, and you haven't been, haven't been for a while, these things could dissolve now, and that's redefining who you are. And this new path, is something that you're exploring. So if you're a Leo or a Sagittarius, this Neptune in Aries transit is going to give you guys a trine aspect, which is very harmonious. So this is going to help you to really tap into your more softer, compassionate side, allow you to go with the flow more, and to explore new experiences that maybe feel a little bit lighter, or that they have this energy of this sense of trust with the flow of your life, and things unfolding in a very smooth way for you that isn't requiring extreme hard work or extreme effort. It's kind of just things are becoming available to you in a new way that they haven't before, in a mystical, magical, creative, spiritualizing kind of way for the Leos and the Sagittarius. And just to reiterate, because it's such a slow moving planet, keep in mind that, you'd have to be pretty early degrees in the next few years to experience this transit. The next few years would probably, I think, Neptune probably go up to around 6 or 7, 8 degrees in the next few years, roughly off the top of my head. So yeah, it's if you're very late in Leo and Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, it's not going to affect you till way later on, or influence your life till way down the track. So keep in mind that Neptune will be in Aries till 2039. So I'm really talking to the people that are early born with these, the things that I'm talking about today. So, what else? I'm going to skip ahead. Oh, I think I had some notes here I just want to touch on. So, yeah, there is a need to watch out for things like illusion and delusion. Yes, definitely. Um, and if you're in a sort of space where you haven't worked on your issues, this is for people that haven't done any soul searching or much spiritual work or much shadow work, or you're kind of stuck in very negative experiences. This could really humble you, in a very intense way. So it's one of these things where it's like, if you are choosing the light and you're choosing the right thing for yourself and for those around you, and you're acting from your heart's truth and you're not trying to harm anyone, then you will experience more the benefits of Neptune. If you are doing the wrong thing by yourself and others, or being very negative about life, this could really lead you into a very humbled ego death place with Neptune influencing, say, with Aries energy, Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars rising in Aries. So please be aware of that. It is very important to do the spiritual work at this time to soften the hard edges of yourself, to come from more of a place of compassion for yourself and others, out of negative emotions, any dark emotions like hatred, or, anything really dark like that. If you're in that space, and I don't think anyone watching this would be, but if you're in that space, you really are going to be having to check yourself before you wreck yourself, basically, because it's going to really pull you down a peg or two. And like I said, I don't think people watching this would be in that category, but there's people that are in a really dark place. And if they have Neptune transits, it can really put them in the darker experience of Neptune, which can be a loss of your personal power. Neptune rules institutions, hospitals, things like that. So, um, also, it can be where you feel like you're losing your mind if you're not doing the work, if you're not looking after your health and well-being, and everything that impacts the mind, coming from all the health aspects of diet, well-being. Looking after yourself is very important when you have a strong Neptune transit, because it can affect the immune system. There can be things that are affecting your health that you don't see and you don't realize are going on. Things like toxins, chemicals, anything related to that can be, heavy metals can be undermining the health. And if you're not looking into your own health and well-being properly and you're just only looking into one thing, or you're being really rigid in your mind and thinking, oh, I just need to exercise and, eat this food, then I'll be fine. It's not that simple. It can be really hard to pinpoint. And even with, I've seen with people with Neptune transits, even doctors can be completely baffled what is wrong with a person, and then it's something really obscure, or it's an environmental toxin like mold in the home, or, you know, anything. Could be, God knows the list, could go on. But it's just this energy with Neptune of the unseen and not being able to pinpoint, not being able to see, what is causing this. So that can be an issue for some people with Aries placements, is the health and something undermining the health. And getting to the bottom of that is going to be something based on your intuition, or listening to, people that, finding the right information just by fluke, and you're just like, oh, what? I just happened to see a video on that and someone mentioned that to me. And then you start looking into protocols and you start to feel better. So, that's just a possibility of how this can manifest. You do become more spiritual with Neptune in your sign. So Aries people can expect that. And how that happens is going to be based on you and where you're at. So like I said, if you're in a dark place, it could come through dark experiences that are, really dissolving to your old sense of ego. If you're a very egocentric person, and Aries is has a very strong ego, but it depends on your personality. Some people are in a negative ego space of Aries, and some people are in more of the positive personal empowerment side of ego, where they're assertive and they stand up for themselves, but they're not trying to dominate over others or control others or do anything mean to others. They're just trying to live their life. Um, if you're in the group of people that are, like I said, more the negative, trying to be controlling, being too rigid, being too stubborn, this is going to be very difficult for you. So that's kind of the good and the bad and the in between. See what I've got next for the slides. Yep. So the signs most affected are, as you can see on the screen, you should be able to see this here. Aries, of course, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. You guys are most affected. And Libra will get the opposition from Neptune. I've already talked about Aries, so I won't go on about that again. But with Libra, be aware, if you're early Libra, that Neptune will be opposing your sign. If you're born 0, 1, 2, 3 degrees the next couple of years, probably up to 4 degrees the next couple of years. Um, be aware, especially if you've got a Libra sun, of people trying to dupe you, or people sort of drawing you into things that are not good for you, especially relationships, Libra. Be careful of, yeah, new relationships where people may not be trustworthy. Trust your intuition. Get those rose-colored glasses off in love, Libra, because this could be detrimental to you if you let something go on and on and on. That is just not good for you at all. Cancer, this is a square aspect. So this could be, for some Cancerians, it could be where your life is changing in some way, where, maybe you're having a baby and you're not working in the workforce anymore. You decide to stay home with the baby. So things are all changing around you, and you're kind of adjusting in this kind of bleary-eyed kind of way. Maybe you're sleep deprived. Maybe you're going through certain things that are really changing. Depends where, say you've got a Cancer sun, where, um, what house your sun is in, and how Neptune in your chart is aspecting as well, your Cancer placement. But it's a square aspect. So this can challenge you, but also bring growth. And you could have some mixed emotions around what you're sensing intuitively. Maybe you're feeling very sensitive and you kind of just want to, you have days where you just want to stay at home, or you have days where you just need to retreat or rest more. You might feel more tired with the Neptune transits. That's another thing for everybody involved. Capricorn is also a square for you as well. So similar to what I said for Cancerians, it's an adjustment energy where you're needing to adjust to new circumstances, new experiences, new energy that you're feeling, that you're experiencing, that maybe is a bit nebulous or unclear. And it takes a lot of sorting through and trying to understand what you're going through, what you're experiencing. There can be confusion for Cancer and Capricorn in a way. As you slowly, you need to be patient with yourself with Neptune square, your sun, moon rising for Cancer or Capricorn. You need to be patient with these influences, because the transits, with Neptune, when you get a Neptune square or opposition or conjunction, they take, a few years roughly to complete their influence there. So yeah. So those are the signs that are most affected with this particular transit. And let's see what else I've got here. Oh, and that's pretty much it. So, if you have any questions, post below. I just wanted to make this a quick video, and I could go on and on about it. There's so much more. Like I said, in the collective, there could be things to do with war going on. That's kind of very edgy. There could be things, with Neptune's water and Aries is fire. So issues with water and fire globally, we're going to see, like fires and possibly volcanic eruptions, strange things with water. Um, Even like the water that, is on the earth could be very, I know it's going to sound weird, but very unstable at this time. It could be very volatile. There could be more things with like king tides, tsunamis potentially. Not that I want to put fear into people at all, but like these energies kind of do speak to that kind of thing. Doesn't mean that they're going to be happening all the time, but they, like cyclones and stuff like that can be happening with a bit more frequency around this time, or around during the time of the transit, depending on what other aspects are being made in the sky with other things. So, yeah, and that's it, guys. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can click on the links below, join me on Instagram, and you can join me on Patreon for much more more frequent updates than I do here on YouTube. So, and like I said, the extended will be on Patreon for all of the signs with timestamps. Thanks, guys. Bye.